Well, as Simon was saying there, this could have global ramifications. Let's speak to Dr. Alex Wood now. Alex is a researcher at the Oxford Internet Institute at the University of Oxford. Thank you for joining us. So just picking up on what Simon's saying there, how does Uber employment in the UK compare to Uber and similar employment around the world? Could we see global employment change because of this ruling in the United Kingdom?
Yeah, I think it will have very big implications, because I think governments around the world are now starting to think, actually, we need to look at the reality of what's going on in the employment in the gig economy, and are thinking, can we actually regulate it? Are these companies just technology companies, or are they actually employing people in some cases? So in New York recently, the court there has decided that 2 workers, Uber drivers, are actually employees. And now we have this ruling in the UK. So the kind of general strategy of Uber across the world, I'd say, is to say, we're just a technology company. We're just connecting these 2 entrepreneurs, or these 2 people who want a service. It's nothing to do with us, the nature of employment. And governments are now saying, actually, it doesn't matter what you're saying. Actually, we have to look at the reality. So I think it's going to have a very large impact kind of across the world.
So what we're talking about here, my understanding of it, is a gig economy. This is where you are self-employed, you pay your own taxes, you're responsible for your own employment, but you go to a company like Uber to get you the work. So does Uber have a point in portraying itself as a technology company that effectively acts as an agent?
And I think the really important thing is that it's true that a lot of the drivers do want to be self-employed, because people value the autonomy that can have. But if you're going to treat people as if they're employed in terms of bearing the risks, or in terms of not getting sick pay and not being paid a minimum wage, you also have to give them the autonomy around other parts of their work. And at the end of the day, Uber has a huge amount of control over the workers. So at the end of a drive, workers will be rated, and if they don't get a high enough rating, they will be deactivated from the service, so effectively fired. And they can't kind of decide that with clients. It's not them who's kind of deciding whether they're going to pick up a client or not. It's the platform that's deciding. It's not them that's setting the rate. It's the platform that's setting the rate. So I think a very interesting aspect of this will be, if Uber doesn't win on appeal, whether they'll change their practices so that they recognize that their drivers are workers, or will they continue to have a self-employed model whereby they actually provide a lot more autonomy and control to the workers. So I think either way, it's a good thing. And that doesn't necessarily mean that worker status is the best solution for all workers, but if drivers are gonna be classed as self-employed, then they should get the benefits that we usually think of as going with being self-employed, which is having kind of autonomy, getting to decide when you work and how you work.
Dr. Alex Wood, many thanks for that analysis. Fascinating. Dr. Alex Wood there at the University of Oxford.